Hey guys, Own Dino Studios here. I know it's been a while, but I am coming back with a knockoff video. Real quick, I know you guys might be waiting on an update with the moles. I got them working and everything, so I will make a video shortly about those. But here we have the Tomy knockoffs in my knockoff collection. I'll make two videos, one with the Tomy and one with the non-Tomy. This one's not Tomy, but it's similar enough to these ones where, might as well include it. So first, we have a Thomas pulling some cargo freight containers. Very interesting, because Thomas is British and these are US. Not sure what's going on up here, but there's that. Here's a straight Tomy knockoff, as shown in Leokim Video's Thomas video, Thomas versus Thomas. We have the just weird knockoffs. The switches for these are on the side here. So there's these two. They both play really annoying chip tunes. And then we have this one with its own unique track, and these cars are very cheap. I believe the loads could come off. I'll show that in a minute, but yeah, here we go. Alright, so we're starting off with this weird abomination of a Thomas. I don't even know if I could call it Thomas. And by the way, I found, I believe, all these on AliExpress. I wouldn't really recommend going on there unless you want to find some weird Chinese knockoff Thomases. No licensing, per usual. These traction tires are terrible quality. I can squish them into the wheel, so they don't do much. The real elephant in the room is the face, however. We have a light, and I guess Thomas's hair now. That's really weird. I don't think it could come off or anything. The plastic on this is decent quality. Looks like it uses the same stickers as a normal Tomy Thomas. The back, not sure what's going on here. Here's where the battery goes in. I believe it takes one AA. Here's the other side, and back to the front. He actually has painted buffers, which is kind of surprising for a very cheap knockoff toy. Here's the bottom. It has the standard quality control stuff. It's just weird all around. Looks like it copied the Tomy toys in design. I don't think you can pull the wheel down. No. Looks like you can somewhat pull the wheel, but if I pull it any harder, it'll break, so I'll leave it at that. The coupler's cheap and nasty. Look at that. I could probably snap it right off. And then here's the top. I think it ripped off all the same Tomy stickers as this one did over here. But, yeah. I put a battery in it, and it's interesting. So you can see there's a red light on the front. It's staring into your soul with that red light. Don't let those eyes deceive you. You can hear a sound chip. I tried to get the sound chip louder, but it's very quiet for some reason. He does run pretty alright, but, as soon as you apply any pressure, he just stops. So, yeah, there's no safety mechanism. So this could get stuck in your hair very easily. So, it's pretty cool. I can start to feel definitely jagged plastic here too. Let's look at the box cars. Alright, so here's the box cars that come with them. Here's the first one. It's very cheap and nasty, I guess is, the word Leokim Video would use to describe it. You can see some very obvious plastic molding on here. So here's the side. As you can see, nonsense numbers. You can tell that make pretty much no sense. Here's the side. Here's the back. They actually painted the back somehow. Here's the side again. And then here's the front. Of course, there's nothing on it. The bottom is very weirdly designed. You have one screw in the middle, and then you have two screws holding it together. And then here's the top. There's dust on it. It's been sitting in my house for a while. But overall, very cheap model. It doesn't roll well either. So yeah, I mean, it gets the job done, but not very well. Here's the red one. It's the exact same design, just with red, just with a red box instead of blue. The plastic mold's even worse on this one, as you can see there. There's little tabs holding it together as well, it looks like. Same design, same everything. There's the top. So, yeah. Overall, I'd give it probably we'll give it a 2 or 3 out of 10. Alright, so here we have him set up on the track. This is all the track that came with him. We have a basic oval here. For some reason, it just came with these shorter straights. There's 4 here, and then 8 curves total. So it's about 10 straights and 8 curves. So, and then it came with these really cheap lights. I think these are straight up Tomy knockoffs. You can correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure these came from the road and rail system. So I'll set that to green. Here's a railroad crossing sign, even though there's no cars or anything to go with it. We'll put that over there. Put that there. Here's the station. Let me back Thomas up so you can see. Very cheap knockoff. I forget which station it is, but it was an early Tomy station. It's named Placard, apparently. Welcome to the station. No, welcome to station. Very, very nice Chinglish there. Here's a little, looks like an outhouse or something. Some trees that are growing in the station. Then we have the station itself. Looks like you got a little nice bench and what looks like a trash can there. I could throw this set in the trash can. You know, it'd look pretty good in there. So, then it came with 2 little trees as well. So we'll put one here and one over here. And yeah, so let's give him a run. We'll get a few shots of him going, and yeah. So you can't even hear the sound chip while he's running. Maybe a bit. You might be able to hear it there. But overall, it's very quiet. Not trying to pry it out of him or anything, so that's good. But yeah. And there we go. Had to catch him there. He's not very fast, but yeah. So that's that, Thomas, and let's move on to the next one, which is right over there. All right, next up is probably the most famous knockoff from Leokin Video's Thomas vs. Thomas video. We have the cheap and nasty clone of Tomy. That is... All right, so now we have probably the most famous knockoff from Leokin Video's Thomas vs. Thomas video. As you can see, it's a 1-to-1 with a real Tomy Thomas. It's very cheap and nasty. You got the classic knockoff sticker there with looks like some grease on it. The bottom has no licensing or anything. The wheels are very cheap. I could probably snap them off if I tried. The traction tires barely do anything, as you saw in his video. I highly recommend it if you didn't see it. Go check it out. Here's his face. Very, very close to the real Thomas. His buffers probably have seen better days. I think it came like that. I don't really know what happened there. Everything is printed on. There's no stickers except for the top here and the back. Here's the other side. You can see the motor in there. This, I don't know what happened here in the factory, but looks like a bit of a grease stain on the back. There's the top. It's very, very scary how close this is to a real Thomas. You can see on there, there's a, what looks like a bit of red paint left there. Now if we open them up, we have the motor. This is definitely a hazard for little kids, so I would not recommend buying this for your kid. You can see the motor. Very, very cheap soldering job there. I bet I could do better. So there's the switch. Requires a bit of force to get it to turn. There's the battery area. You see the lamp and the little fine details, the lamp irons. Overall, just a very cheap replication of perfection. Here's the back. See, it doesn't even close all the way on top here. Very cheap and nasty. So I will go grab a battery for him and let's get him running. So before we get him running, here's a few quick things I wanted to do. So we have this Thomas, which is the fake, and this one's the real. It's very similar in design. I believe the stickers are similar. Looks like the whistle's different on each of them. No red boiler lining. On the side, we have the stickers. That's a sticker, and this is a, it's printed on the plastic. Very cheap. You can see the bottoms. It's night and day down here. You have 3 screws here, 3 screws here, but everything else is practically different. Let's see the backs. There's the proper design here, and I guess some doors. No reason for them to be there. Here's the other side, as you can see. And then probably the most shocking detail is the face. Looks very similar to a real Thomas. As you can see there, the printing's a bit off, but you know, this one actually kind of looks a bit angrier now that I look at it. Yeah, that's about all the differences. Now let's scoot these guys aside. Bring these ladies in. So here's Annie and Clarabelle. There's Annie. There's Annie. As you can tell, and I mean, this is very cheap and nasty. There's two of the same coach. I bet I could pry it apart if I tried. Actually, let me try that real quick. Yeah, so it took barely any force. Let's pry the top off here. No hole, or no screw hole here or anything to hold it on. I can take the coupler out. Luckily, this one's screwed in, so just barely looks like. The wheels, somehow they're staying on. But this is a choking hazard for kids, so do not buy this for your kid if you're intending for them to play with it. Put the coupler back on. There we go. Then snap that back on. Doesn't want to go back on, right? Let's see. I mean, if you wanted to, you could also reverse it, and that could be Clarabelle there too. But, yep, overall, just probably the most cheap knockoff I've seen in a while. We'll get that back on and check out the real ones. So I'm having a bit of trouble getting this back together. Looks like there's some tabs here that are stopping me from forcing it back on. I got one side back, but the other side is stuck. I will work on this and get it back together, of course. So, yeah. Alright, got it back together. That was tough for some reason. Stupid knockoff. Here's the other one, the exact same design. That face is very creepy, so I put it. The bottom just feels cheap and nasty in general. This one's the Clarabelle because there's no coupler on the back, of course. I mean, it still says Annie, but, you know. Here's the other side. One detail that's painted that's not on these guys is this white, I guess, the vents on the top. So, yeah, that's Annie and Annie. Slide those over, and now here come the real ones. These ones are of course way higher quality. I believe this is the 1993 version, 1992. Yep. As you can see, it says Britt Allcroft Thomas Limited, 1992. So there's that. Let's see. There's no doors on the back, which as it should be. Here's the side. Both of them say Annie. Looks like they took this font and made it larger on here. And then the front. Here's a comparison of the two faces. This one's way creepier than this one. So there's that. And yeah, there's the bottom. There's the top. Something I found a bit weird is that this is an off-brand. It looks like a bluish, like a grayish blue on the top. Some paint must have gotten mixed up in the factory. And then here's Clarabelle. Difference is the face. This one actually says Clarabelle. So there you go. The face is on the wrong side for this one. Should be back here. But overall, just cheap and nasty and very nice. Alright, so now we have them set up on the track. As you can see, it's very, very cheap and nasty. We have all rolling stock with them. I guess we'll set the station there. No one's getting on this train though, so that's a plus. As you can see, compared to the real thing, it's very cheap. But yeah, let's give them a run. He's probably the quietest out of the 5 that I'm showing off today. No sound speaker, just straight up gears and metal. So yeah, let's get a few shots of him running. Alright, if I can catch him right here. There we go. He just wants to fall apart in my hands. But if I shook him a bit, you know, he just comes right apart. So, that is another one down. He also doesn't freewheel, by the way. As pointed out by Leo Kim Video. He does not freewheel at all. Very cheap and nasty. The real one, freewheels. This one, I don't think I could get the wheels to move no matter what. Oh, gotta break the gears there, but yeah. Very, very cheap and nasty. If someone tried to freewheel this, they would break it. So, there's that one, there's that, and this one freewheels. So, yeah, let's move on to our next ones, which are right back there. So, while testing out the freewheeling on this, I actually got him to make a rattling noise, which is very interesting. I guess one of the gears is rattling around in there now from me trying to push it, which just shows that this is not for children at all. You know, little kids love to push their trains around, and this is just not good at all. Cheap and nasty product. So, yep. Alright, so next up we have these two, and we'll look at the Thomas first. Before we look at the green Thomas. So, first off, very, very, very just classic dark side. Can't get the face off. Oh, wait, maybe I can. Never tried it. But there we go. Came right off. So, there's that. Here's the face. Very... I don't know who this is based off. Looks like maybe Percy. Definitely doesn't look like Thomas, though. It just looks off. So, there's that. It says TB there. Don't know what that stands for. Maybe toxic blue, you know, it's very toxic for kids. So here's the inside. It takes 2 AA's. Of course, this thing eats up power. It does have an unfortunate sound chip in the front, as you can see there. There's a speaker. You can see the motor in there. At least the wires are concealed, unlike the other ones. Let's see. Yeah, it takes 2 AA's. There's the switch. Very, very cheap and nasty. Yep. Overall, just very cheap. There's some lights on the front as well. Black wheels. There's the bottom. These traction tires are probably the best out of these guys. But of course, the, you know, still very, very bad. You know, I could just do that. And it doesn't freewheel as well. In the same boat as that one over there. So, alright, let's put the top back on. There's the side. Back. Of course, you got the little mark there. You got titanium coal. There's the other side. You can see the on-off switch there. Then his face. Something about that just creeps me out. Then here's the top. As you can see. And yeah, let's put some batteries into this guy and I'll get my earplugs. Okay, so we got some batteries in him. I didn't grab my earplugs, unfortunately. If I go deaf because of this, then so be it. Let's put the top back on and give it a test. Very, very typical of these knockoffs to have a sound chip like that. So we'll turn that off before my ears get shot. So as you saw, there are blinking lights on the front. The sound chip is very typical of these kinds of toys. I believe there are countless other engines on Leo Convideo's channel that have that same sound chip. And it's this one's very slow as well. I think it has 2 AA's and the speaker takes up power, so there's not much left for the motor. So let's just give him a quick test. So something I just noticed is if I pick him up and stop his wheels, the sound chip gets much quieter, which definitely saves my ears for sure. And you can see the lights get quieter, or the lights get dimmer too. So that's a plus, but this has definitely some force behind it. Let's turn it off. If you're ever thinking of getting this for your child, don't, because this could definitely cause some damage. It takes a lot of force to stop it. So, you know, it could get stuck in a kid's hair, could, you know, it's very sharp edges, could cut them. Just overall, just very, very nasty. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at Percy. So now with Thomas out of the way, let's look at Percy. I'm sure I could rip the face off of this one too. Maybe one-handed. Let's see. Nope. I'd need a screwdriver to pop that off probably. But, so here's the side. It's a weird number 6 on there. Of course it's in the wrong place for Percy. So it's just a green Thomas, it looks like. Here's the wheels. It's the same design. It just says HMC there. Not sure what that means. hazardous something, hazardous material caution maybe. Same design. There's the on-off button. There's the top. Looks like there's some dust on top. There's the coal, probably uranium or something. There's the bottom. No licensing whatsoever. I could probably pry it apart if I tried. So there's Percy. Well, shouldn't call him Percy anyway. I don't even know what this is. So let's put him on the track and give him a test. Alright, so here we go. It has a very similar sound chip to Thomas, but a bit different. A more standard one in knockoff toys. So here we go. The sound quality is definitely crappier on this one than Thomas. But it's the same blinking lights as you can see there. Same, parts, just different sounding. Very, very, very cheap. Same slowness as Thomas. If I try to stop it, it's very hard to. I can take the track with it as well. Move that back over, give it a run. And let's see if I can catch it right here. There we go. So, now I can take my earplugs out and let's move on to the next one, which is over here. So, lastly, I saved the weirdest for last. I shouldn't say best for last because none of these are good at all. But here we have the weirdest one by far. It is some abomination of an American Loco and Thomas. So as you can see, here's just a view of his side. Different colored wheels for some reason. Probably ran out of plastic that day. So there's Thomas's face. I can probably take it off. Yep. There we go. Very easy. Choking hazard goes down your kid's throat. They die. There you go. So there's that. Looks like a bit of black paint dripped off. Some holes. As you can see, there's a smoking unit in this, so it'll be very interesting to see how that works. Here's the other side. There's the back. The top, of course. Looks like there's a sound chip in this. I haven't turned it on in a while, so we'll see how this pans out. Made in China. There it is. There's the usual suspects for labels. Traction tires are pretty alright on it. As you can see, I can turn it on the wheel, unfortunately, which is not good. It does not freewheel. The wheels are very locked up. It feels built well, but the plastic's still very cheap. I can also, of course, take this off. If I tried, I could probably take that one off. This one probably comes off too. So, very cheap and nasty. So next we have the three cars. So first we have what looks like a coal car. I wouldn't say it's the tender, but it looks like there's no coal bunker on them, so I guess this is the tender. It's called Coal Box. As you can see, very cheaply painted, or it's weathering, whatever you prefer. Looks like there's the plastic mold lines on there. There's the front, or the side, I mean. Here's the front. It has a very simple hook and loop system. So you can hook it on and yeah, there you go. Here's the bottom. I can definitely rip one of these sets of wheels off. Let's see. There you go. Down the kid's throat, they die. There you go. Very interesting wheel design. So there you go. Now, I could rip everything off of this, it looks like. The top, no, this piece comes off. Let's see. If I could rip this off too. There goes the coupler. Then there comes the other wheel. Now you're in the hospital with the kid that is choking on multiple pieces of toxic Chinese plastic. There you go. Move that aside. Here's the next one, the tanker. Best. I don't know if it's the best at all. So there's that. We got arrows pointing to both sides. So I could take this one apart too. I'm not going to try to because you've already seen what happens. There's the bottom. The wheels are very cheap. Comes off the track a lot. There's the couplers. The back coupler I could definitely break that off very easily. So, yep. Let's move that aside. And here's the last one. These logs can come out. Looks like they're sets of 2. So if I tried, I could push those out. So there's that. Same chassis as the other 2. I don't know what I'm expecting at this point. So there's that. Let's set up the track for this one, because it uses a different system. It can't fit on the Tomy tracks. If it tried, it would just, come off the rails. So I would think this one doesn't fit either. Yep. As you can see, it's very not fitting on the track at all. So yeah, let's set up the track. All right, so here we have him set up on the tracks. What's very interesting is his wheels are on the outside, but all the car wheels are on the inside. It took me a second to figure that out. We got all the cars set up, and as you probably saw earlier, I tried to turn him on, and there were batteries in him, but he didn't start up. It took me a second of banging him on the table to get him to work, but now he works. I filled him up with water through this hole here, and let's try him out. Yeah, there we go again. It's not working. Not sure what's going on here. Ah, there goes the water. I'll get him working, and we'll see what happens from there. Now here's something you got to look out for whenever you're buying these trains, is whether they will actually work or not. The water, of course, went everywhere, as you saw. There it is on the side, and he is still not working. I will do my best to get him working, so here we go. So opening up the batteries, this is a fresh set, just grab them from the pack. But there we go, the screw came out right there. These are all, I probably shouldn't say the brand name. I know Leo Can Video is under fire for that. Now if we close them up, flip the switch, nothing happens. So I will try my best to get this thing to work still. So it seems like he only wants to work when the screw is half screwed in. Some electrical issue. Looks like the batteries output into this little, there's a little metal plate here, and goes through the screw, goes to the motor. Simple electronics, but very finicky in knockoff trains. So if we put them on the track, got the water filled back up. Let's get him coupled up here, and let's give him a run. And he does have a sound chip as well in him, so it's a very quick one. There's the smoke, there's the lights. All he does is make some rail clattering noises, and that very, very cheap sound chip in him. Doesn't look like he wants to stay on the track for too long. I don't know if you can hear me over the sound chip. There's the cars. There's him. Looks like he already ran. Oh, no, there you go. I thought he ran out of water for a minute, but guess not. Let's get a running session in. So I've had enough of this sound chip. Let's see if I can catch him. And there we go. Peace and quiet. He ran somewhat decently. He's very wobbly on the tracks, as you can see on the straights. Yep. The wheels are very nasty, very cheap and nasty. Looks like I could probably snap them in a second. But yeah, that was this absolute abomination of a train. So one more idea I had is to put these guys against each other in a quick head-to-head match. So we'll start off with these two. Just see which one's stronger. This one's going to be interesting because they're both the same mechanism. So let's see if I can do this with one hand. Turn him on. Turn this one on. And here we go. Uh-oh. Looks like Green Thomas is winning. Maybe. Might just be going back and forth. Let's take this one. Let that one do a lap. And then let's have them meet back up right here. Boom. Looks like the same thing happened there. Let's let them toughen it out. So it doesn't look like either of them are going to budge. Not sure exactly what to do here. Guess we'll put them on a curve and see what happens. So there goes Percy. Put Thomas on the tracks here. I think Thomas won that. Not too sure. I'll have to go review the footage. So one thing's for sure, my ears didn't win that, but this Thomas came out on top, so Percy is eliminated. We'll put him over here in the loser bracket. Next up is this Thomas versus this Thomas. This is going to be interesting. I will leave the coach or the cargo cars out of this because that'd be unfair. So let's turn this one on. Actually, let's have this one do a lap. And then turn this guy on as soon as he gets back over here. 3, 2, 1, go. Uh-oh. Oh! Looks like this Thomas won that one. That was very quick. So these guys are both losers, you know. I mean, they're all losers, but these two are especially losers. Let's put these two up against each other real quick in the losers bracket. So let's make this guy do a lap and get this Percy ready. And 3, 2, 1, go. Uh-oh, looks like the same thing's gonna happen here. Not sure what's going on there, but hopefully something happens here. Nope, nothing. Put him on a curve. Alright, let's see what happens here. Oh, man. So, out of the two losers, this one is the ultimate loser. Let's put him over there. And this guy comes out in third place. So, now let's put him up, these two together. So we're having that Thomas do a quick lap. And then put this guy here. Oh, wow. There's 1 second. Let's put him on the straight. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh! That Thomas is killing this Thomas with his red beams of death, it looks like. But nothing's happening there, so let's see what happens when I put him on a curve as well. So here's Thomas, and there's the other Thomas. Oh! This Thomas wins. So this one came in fourth, of course. Then this one, and this one. Then in first place we have the notorious Tomy Thomas. So, there we go. So that's a wrap for this video. Thanks you guys for watching. I wouldn't recommend buying any of these unless you want to collect knockoff toys. They're kind of a waste of your money, and I wouldn't recommend it. You could get scammed, and it's just not a good time. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know what you guys would like to see in the future, and I will make a part 2 as well with the rest of the knockoffs that I have. Some similar to what Leo Can Video has, and some that he doesn't. So, yeah, thanks for watching.